This is Sydney Omarr, and this is about you, Libra, born from September 23rd to October 22nd. Your sign is intriguing. It is the symbol of the scales balancing for justice, and you constantly do lean over to see the other person's point of view. You would rather hurt yourself than cause injury to another. Your planetary significator is Venus. You were born under the 7th zodiacal sign, associated with marriage, partnerships, legal affairs, public relations, publicity, and the way the world, the public, accepts or views situations. Now listen, Libra. You are adored by many, disliked by others. Of course, you might say this applies to numerous persons, but where you are concerned, we make a special point of it. This because Venus is involved, the symbolism of which is luxury and love, fulfillment and frustration, beauty and the beast. I have pointed out in 2 of my books, Astrology, Its Role in Your Life, and My World of Astrology, that you can be in the public eye and a favorite 1 minute and completely out the next moment. In plain words, Libra, the scales swing, the cycle changes, nothing halfway about your activities. You view the world and the world sees you. Both you and the world can be in love, in a manner of speaking, but, as in the case of lovers, there are quarrels. You appear to be on a precipice. The height can be dizzying or gratifying. Unless you maintain balance, you fall, to the delight of some, to the sorrow of others. Now look, Libra, you are easy to love, which by the I Ching principle means you also are easy to hate. You are, Libra, a captivating individual who seeks balance and justice, but could be involved in something less than beautiful. Now let me repeat, Libra, that your desire is for beauty, your aim is for justice, your need is for love. If I talk about some of your negative aspects, it is because at times you become discouraged and revert to self-pity, to a kind of shrugging which says, in effect, "What can I do about it? What can I do about anything?" When this happens, you're not living up to the best in yourself. Many times people lash out at you in a sense of frustration. These responses on the part of others are caused because you challenge with your display of idealism, and some people feel small in your presence. To justify themselves, they criticize. They try to belittle you, when, if the truth be known, they revere you and secretly wish to emulate you. This may not be easy to comprehend, not all at once. But, Libra, if you will take time to think, to analyze, you will discover the truth of this statement. Play this record again, especially this part. It will, I am sure, help you to understand why those closest to you at times seem to want to push you away. What they really want is breathing room, time to digest your example, your thoughts, your principles. Now let me give you some hints about men and women born under your sign. Here are some special tips for men about Libra women. Love is all important to her. So are her surroundings. Now, men, carelessness in taste is one way to lose the Libra woman. Listen, she, like all of us, does have her faults, and one of those faults is to be affected in an extreme manner by manners, by outward appearances. Often she is apt to bypass something or someone worthwhile because she insists on manners before morals. Perhaps she's taking a leaf out of Oscar Wilde's book, and she is very apt to be an admirer of Wilde. Her key words are romance, partnership, marriage, beauty, and the independence required to flourish and flower, to develop and to assimilate the beautiful things in life. The Libra woman's moods can be all the way to the sky or down to the cellar. She exhibits a tendency to say, "Show me," while neglecting to prove her own abilities or to explain her own motives. Listen, men, the Libra woman expects you to realize her worth, to take for granted that her motives are beyond reproach. In short, she expects you to appreciate without asking, to accept without doubting, to love without bargaining. Now, to be fair, let's turn to special hints for women about Libra men. One of the first things to remember when dealing with the Libra man is to avoid any display of irritability. The roof may be leaking, the bank account could be overdrawn, but lady, he expects you to reassure him, to smile, to be compatible, to exhibit a sense of humor, awareness, and faith. Listen, ladies, the Libra man seeks a woman who has an even temper, who can laugh in the face of adversity. He is appreciative of talent, art, literature, music. He will encourage hobbies, even if such encouragement costs some money. At times it appears he is not very demanding in the ordinary sense, but there is one thing the Libra man does demand, and I point this out in my book, Secret Hints for Men and Women. He demands refinement. Anything coarse makes him shudder inwardly. He may not come out and say it, but when you use language that is of the street variety, when you carp, when you are quick to anger, he cringes. The Libra man needs to be told how good he is. In this way he is similar to the Leo man. And when dealing with a Leo or a Libra man, remember this, ladies, flattery will get you everywhere. The Libra man has more of a sense of humor than you might at first perceive. He's nobody's fool, although at times he may act like one. There you have it. Special tips, hints for men and women about your sign, Libra. Your solar horoscope depicts unusual conditions where love affairs are concerned. Your emotions often betray you. Emotions mingle with logic, often battle each other. You want a home. You desire conditions described as settled. Yet at the same time, there is a hunger for experience, excitement. You contradict yourself and then wonder why those close to you often wear a puzzled expression. You are delightful but exasperating. You attract unusual or far-out people, and in turn, you are attracted to these persons. You see, Libra, routine people tend to bore you. Routine activity can leave you cold, listless. You revere intelligence. You were born under an air sign in the air trinity, which depicts intelligence. I have discovered about you, Libra, that you would rather endure emotional wounds than be bored by one who is so plain, predictable, and practical that he or she puts you to sleep. One of our great authorities on astrology and sex, the late Vivian Robeson, an English astrologer, said this about your sign. He declared, "The women are romantic and tend to be in love with love rather than with any particular person other than themselves. In common with Libra men, they crave admiration and flattery even when they know it is merely flattery, for there is no sign quite so capable of willfully avoiding unpleasant facts or willfully believing what it knows is untrue as Libra. This makes one danger obvious. You tend to judge the worth of people by what they say about you, by how much they claim they admire you. This, of course, can be dangerous because a shrewd individual can make you dance to any tune. Now, there are many celebrities born under Libra, and among them are Mickey Mantle, Deborah Kerr, Helen Hayes, and Brigitte Bardot. Listen, Libra, you tend to shy away from the obvious, which in a sense means that you can be practical, competent, but impractical when it comes to being practical. Now, this sounds like a contradiction, but let's put it another way. You are sensible, practical, efficient when it comes to the difficult, the subtle, the challenging question or problem. But at times, you simply cannot see the trees for the forest. If something, a situation, problem, or person is obvious, simple, easy to solve, then you move away in another and more needlessly difficult direction. Listen, you're capable of interpreting symbols, of detecting trends, of perceiving undertones. But once the trappings are removed and an earthy situation is involved, you seek other reasons. You become almost synonymous with a proverbial absent-minded professor. Being under the air trinity, you prefer the non-obvious, and because you prefer it, you seek it, are attracted to it, draw it to you. So, Libra, when confronted with a simple, everyday question or problem, you make more of it than is required or deserved. And that is what we mean when we say you can be practical, but at the same time impractical about practical matters. You are a perceptive individual, but you are wide open when it comes to members of the opposite sex who swing from the heels. That is to say, one who goes after you, who decides to attract you, to compel your attention. Then, Libra, you are wise but foolish. You are capable but helpless. You are charming but susceptible to charm. You are, Libra, in the parlance of the fight game, a sucker for a right. Libra, you're naive. You're sympathetic, considerate, capable of sacrificing your own desires for the greater good. You are, as we say, all of these things, but you're also naive. You think that because you adhere to certain principles that others too adhere to them. But listen, Libra, in plain words, you have an agonizing tendency for leaving yourself open to punishment. Sound is important to you. Musical tones, the voice, the sound of music. These things are meaningful where you are concerned. You can appreciate mathematics, music, the music of the spheres, which means in this case the rhythm of the universe, the movements of the planets, the categories of life. You appreciate order, involvement, the involvement of one human life in the life of another, the meshing of the gears, the give and the take of human relationships. If I were to criticize you, Libra, I would say or ask, where is your sense of direction? You are many-sided, but you encounter difficulty in forming a policy, fixing a viewpoint, charting a direction. On the negative side, you are like a rudderless ship. There is life, action, movement. The motor is running, but where are you going? You are attracted to law, order, the arts, various cultures. You involve yourself in justice, civil liberties, the rights of the underdog. But your methods, your touch, they are often too subtle to be felt. While you want to make an impact, you are afraid of making a dent. Your love of harmony, of beauty, is so great that you pull your punches so as not to mess up the scene, the picture, the situation, the person. This creates one of two conditions. Either you become discouraged or enamored with the idea that it merely takes time, anything takes time, if only balance is maintained, if only anger is suppressed. Now, in effect, Libra, you are discouraged or hopelessly optimistic, which brings us again to the symbol of your sign, Libra, the scales, the balance, the scales of justice, the scales of decision. And so I would say to you, learn the importance of making a decision. I don't care, Libra, which way you decide, but I do want you to make the decision. I want you to decide one way or the other. Listen, once you rid yourself of indecision, you become less subtle and thus more direct. And this is the right direction, for it relieves anxiety. That's one thing you have in spades, anxiety. Get rid of it by conditioning yourself to decide, to make a decision. Instead of balancing the scales, of incessant weighing of facts, instead of that, decide. When you do begin making decisions, anxiety will evaporate. You will, in turn, begin to relax, to live, to exfoliate, to unravel, to be true to yourself, and to be a beautiful human being. Let's talk for a moment about this anxiety of yours, your anxieties. You are anxious about whether you're doing enough. You are anxious about whether you're doing the right thing or anything. The reason is that, perhaps early in life, you expressed your love nature and were castigated, rebuffed, disappointed, disillusioned. And you've been casting about for a reason ever since. You've been rationalizing, making excuses, taking gallops in logic. Listen, Libra, you, above all other zodiacal signs, possess much to admire: physical beauty, principles, idealism. And this could make you fair game for the less talented, the coarse, the ambitious, the schemers. But once you become decisive, once you obtain a definite point of view and outlook, then the odds swing in your favor, and the result is greater strength, more happiness. However, you often mistake friendship for love, and then you feel guilty because you're not deliriously happy. It is possible for you to love and hate almost simultaneously, and once you accept this fact and stop feeling guilty about it, you will have advanced in a psychological sense. You will have matured. Remove your emotional armor. Face yourself as you actually exist. Then you become lighter, free and easy. For you, this is essential to happiness. And Libra, if you persist in regarding happiness as something symbolic instead of earthy, you are persisting in making your life one of chords which fail to harmonize. Seek harmony. Insist on it. Make your life a song which sings instead of squeaks. Harmonize. Get into the rhythm of your own being. Now let's be frank, Libra. You can't play the game both ways. It's either one way or the other, either life or an imitation of life. You are, in actuality, a warm, passionate being. And until you accept this, you are denying a very real, a major part of yourself. There is no reason for this self-denial. Start enjoying yourself. Make sure your life is a song that sings. It is true that you don't necessarily ask for the impossible, yet you constantly strive for goals that appear out of reach. You become upset by minor details, but you are perfectly willing to view an entire project. You have solutions for major problems, but the minor ones tend to trip you. You want love in its fullest sense, but you turn your nose up at what you consider the ultra-physical. You listen to the problems of others and watch them walk away when you try to express your own. You could excel in law, public relations. You have a way of sensing the pulse beat of the public. You can anticipate needs, moods, desires. You can appreciate beauty and can help others to do the same. Often, however, you become involved in matters which are costly, impractical. You have faith in individuals who do not always have faith in themselves. You are often considered a soft touch. This is because you permit it to be so. But on the other side of the coin, you can be efficient. You can achieve great heights no matter who or what stands in your way. The choice, of course, is your own. Your solar ruling planet is Venus, and that is associated with love, but also with self-indulgence. Venus is beauty, but also involves the very real physical contact between persons in love. You are a willing worker, but at times you appear afraid to get your hands dirty. I mean this, of course, in a symbolic sense. And I say to you that you've got to learn to get your hands dirty, to get involved, to give of yourself, to expose yourself, to leave yourself open. Once you do, Libra, you will find that dirt is clean, it is natural, it is our mother the earth, it is live, and for you it is necessary to live. So begin right now. Numbers associated with your sign are 6, 4, and 9. Libra, as we say, belongs to the air trinity, is associated with the lumbar region, which includes the kidneys, is a cardinal sign. Libra gems are diamond and opal, the color is indigo blue, and the metal is copper.